The New York Knickerbockers, or the New York Knicks, are a professional basketball team that was founded in 1946 as part of the Basketball Association of America. They are one of the founding teams of the NBA, and throughout their first 9 seasons, they posted winning seasons, but failed to produce a championship despite appearing in the finals 3 times in 1951, 52, and 53. They were pretty much irrelevant because they were not very good and failed to post winning seasons, and didn't really become relevant again until they drafted Willis Reed in 1964. After the drafting of Willis Reed, they added future Hall of Famers such as Walt Clyde Frazier, Bill Bradley, and Dave DeBusschere. They ended up finally winning their first championship in 1970, and another championship in 1973. Those, to this day, are still the only championships that the Knicks hold. Over the decades that the Knicks have been a team, they've had many famous players play for them. The most famous Knick and most identifiable Knick would probably be Patrick Ewing. He played for the Knicks in the 80s and 90s, and his last season was 1999, though he failed to produce a championship. After Patrick Ewing, they had Stephon Marbury, Carmelo Anthony, Kristaps Porzingis. They've just had many famous players play for them over the decades. But over the past 2 decades, they've been known as one of the most dysfunctional teams in the league because James Dolan, who took over the team in 1999, made bad hirings of executives to run the team, such as Isaiah Thomas in the early 2000s. He made very bad trades for players, just giving up a ton of assets and draft picks for below average players or superstars that were past their prime. He ended up dumping so much draft capital that it just ruined the Knicks' futures for basically the next decade or 2. It affected the New York Knicks up until, I believe, 2019. Another hiring that James Dolan made was the hiring of Phil Jackson, the famous coach of the Bulls in the Michael Jordan era, and the Lakers in the early 2000s with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. And everyone thought this was a really good hiring up until they saw how he was running the team. He wanted to run the team through a very outdated and difficult offense that was not being used as much anymore. And even though he used them when he coached Michael Jordan and the Bulls and Kobe and the Lakers, he wasn't coaching the Knicks, which was a big problem in the 2010s because it was a very difficult offense and it was hard to learn. And he also wasn't signing the correct players to run the offense. So the Knicks just kept on losing, and it was just not very successful. But as of right now, in 2021, the Knicks on an upswing. Their future is looking very bright after they hired Leon Rose in 2020. And just in the course of a year, he made very good trades and unloaded bad contracts and took on bad contracts in the 2020 season for draft capital. He ended up making a steal of the draft with Emmanuel Quickley, and he's been very good for the Knicks in 2021, providing a very good spark off the bench. And the hiring of Coach Tom Thibodeau, who is known for his defensive prowess. And currently, the Knicks are the number 3 defense in the league after being a very subpar defense for the past decade. So within just the past year, the Knicks have a very young core of RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickley, and other players, and also have the most cap space in the league. So the Knicks have a very, very bright future ahead of them and are even in the current playoff race as the 6th seed currently. So, in just one season, the Knicks have made a very big change that no one saw coming and have exceeded everyone's expectations.